accept this award not for myself, but on behalf of all the human rights defenders around the world who don't know the meaning of being yellow. There are people who stand up to government oppression, face imprisonment and torture and death for basic rights which most of us are lucky enough to take for granted. I want to tell you a little bit about Speak Truth to Power and how I came to write the book. When I was a sophomore in college, 1981, those of you who do math, that means I'm now 47. But when I was a sophomore in college, I took an internship at Amnesty International in Washington, D.C. And I was investigating and documenting cases of abuse against refugees from El Salvador by U.S. immigration officials. And I was horrified to learn about how my government was treating people who are the most impoverished, who were fleeing to our country in order to escape from death squads. And we were treating the most destitute with disdain. And I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to learn how to stop it. And through organizations like Human Rights First and Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, I learned how I could do that. And I learned that I was lucky, blessed, to be living in a country born of revolution, where institutions are capable of change because of citizen activism. But at the same time, I also started working with people around the world who, like me, were trying to change the course of events in their countries. Solidarity activists in Poland, anti-apartheid activists in South Africa, the mothers of the disappeared in El Salvador. And from them, I was so moved by their commitment that I devoted my life to human rights work. At that time, Pinochet ruled in Chile. And Latin America was, there were military dictatorships throughout Latin America. Today, the only military dictator left standing is Castro in Cuba. At that time, communism dominated Eastern Europe. Today, there's no communism left in Eastern Europe. At that time, South Africa was under the worst part of apartheid rule, the cruelest part of apartheid rule. Today, South Africa has had successive governments freely voted by a majority of their people. And at the time, women's rights were not even on the international agenda. Today, the Women's Rights Convention, CEDAW, has been signed by 177 nations. Sadly, not my own, so there's still a way to go. But none of these changes took place because great militaries wanted them to. In fact, in almost every case, armies and militaries tried to stop them. And none of them took place because governments wanted them to. In fact, in almost every case, governments tried to stop them. And none of them took place because huge multinational corporations wanted them to. In fact, in almost every case, multinational corporations tried to stop them. But they took place because individuals harnessed the dream of freedom and made it come true. And that is what human rights are all about. It's individuals saying, we will not stand anymore for repression. It's their resistance, not the repression, that is so important.